Hi, and welcome at the PASC23 on-stage corner. Here I am with Arvind Ramanathan, who also is an organizer of the mini-symposium. So welcome, Arvind. Can you tell us what was your mini-symposium about?
So my mini-symposium was about using large language models, and especially in the context of automated experiments. So I think the way we think about it, at least at Argonne and other places in the US, is that the landscape of how we are using HPC or high-performance computing for scientific applications is changing a lot. And one of the things that is actually influencing that is via what are called as large language models or foundation models. So these foundation models are really useful because they summarize a lot of high-dimensional data into low-dimensional representations, which are very important for like downstream tasks. And now in the context of experiments, if we want to redesign how we think of our experiments in the lab, we should be able to do them with these foundation models. And so we think of them as an active loop where you have experiments being run. The data is being processed by these foundation models to understand what sort of new experiments we need to design, and then bring it back to the experimental platform to do it in an iterative fashion.
So what was inspiring you to have this mini-symposium, and what were you hoping to achieve with such a mini-symposium?
So the main thing that we wanted to achieve was to basically get some ideas from the community as to what their thinking is in terms of how AI is influencing. I mean, you saw talks from Lorena, you're going to see a talk in the evening today by Rick on how these landscapes of AI and HPC are changing very rapidly. And as experimental scientists, if we don't catch up to this sort of advancement, I think we'll be lagging behind in serious terms of how we'll be doing it. So, but it's also important to build consensus amongst the community in terms of awareness, which I think is, sort of there amongst people, but it's also not there at that point. So we would like to build that sort of consensus amongst the community.
So, and what would be the take-home message after today's symposium?
So our symposium was yesterday, so the takeaway was already there in the sense that we knew people wanted to talk a lot about what these foundation models actually provide them with, but at the same time they also identified certain key gaps in terms of trust, in terms of making them more accessible, in terms of making it available in a way that everybody could use it. So democratization, access, and security were the main things that we were discussing. And at the end of the day, I think people are really excited about this idea that experiments can be driven by, high-performance computing, factoids, or hypotheses that can be formed at the same time as the experiments are being run. So which I think is changing the way we think about how to do science itself. So elevating human creativity, and not having to deal with all the mundane stuff that you have to deal with.
So did you finish the mini-symposium by already thinking of what will come next? What is the hope for the future?
So the hope for the future is that we'll have a series of these workshops being conducted in different locations. One of the things that we are planning to do at Argonne is to hold this workshop where we want to invite people from all over the world, where they would like to see how we are developing some of these tools and toolkits for automated experimentation. Other labs are also equally involved in this. Oak Ridge, Berkeley, and other places are equally involved in this. They're also working towards building that next set of tools that we need for them. So this is a area where we are trying to build the collaborations across all types of institutions across all over the world. So hopefully we'll see that emerge in the summer. And
so one final question. What inspired you to participate in the PASC conference, besides the obvious reason of organizing a mini-symposium?
Well, I think there was a paper that we had this year. We were actually coming for that. But I also thought that the diverse community of people that you attract is kind of interesting, and also the collaborative nature of how these meetings are organized. And you can get various disciplines in the same location, which I think is awesome. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Arvind.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.